King Charles and Princess Catherine are both home recovering after their surgeries as Prince William takes on daddy duties. Plus, the Duchess of York steps out after her cancer diagnosis, and Harry and Meghan have a date night in Jamaica. And author Robert Hartman reveals that Queen Elizabeth was working up until her final days.
On the afternoon that she died, and suddenly this red box appears.
We've got that plus so much more in today's Royally Us. Hey everyone, I'm Christina and that's Christine, and welcome to a big week of Royally Us. Everybody is out of the hospital, at home, recovering in such a strange time in royal life.
Yeah, I know. Last week we had so much sort of bad news, bad health news. This week the news is much better. Everyone's sort of on the up and up, so there's all good things to talk about.
Definitely, and I know you guys were flooding our comments with well wishes, including Terrian says, praying for Prince Charles, Princess Kate, and the Duchess of York for a speedy recovery. God bless. Yes, and I think a lot of people are sending those sentiments as well. So let's get right into the news. As we said, Princess Kate is back home following her recent abdominal surgery. The Kensington Palace released a statement saying the Princess of Wales has returned home to Windsor to continue her recovery from surgery. She is making good progress. Kate and her husband, Prince William, wish to say a huge thank you to the entire team at the London Clinic. And they shouted out the dedicated nursing staff for the care that they have provided. The message concluded saying the Wales family continues to be grateful for the well wishes they have received from around the world. As we know, it was announced on January 17th that she went into the London Clinic for a planned procedure that would take her away from royal duties from now until about Easter. We don't know exactly what the abdominal surgery was. They said that maybe they will release more information in due time, but a source did tell us that she is resting up and enjoying lots of visits from Prince William and the kids. And as we know, that William has taken on some more daddy duties during this time and kind of taking on the role of modern dad, right?
Yeah, this is very much modern dad. You know, he's stepped. They do have a nanny and they have lots of family supporting them. But we know that for William and Kate, being there for school pickups is really important. Being there to support the children every day is really, really important in a way that we haven't seen in the royal family ever before. And really that that you don't really see. I mean, nowadays dads are so involved and it's so great, but really placing the priority on the children, you don't necessarily see that every day. Sometimes when mom's sick, the kids are like eating cold cereal and fending for themselves. But it's so clear that William and Kate are a team in this. They're doing a lot to support Kate, which I can't imagine how difficult this is for her, but also they're doing a lot to support the children to keep their lives as normal as possible. And that's really been the emphasis here, is that they want a sense of normalcy for the children, a semblance of routine of their parents being there. And that's exactly what William's showing us he plans to do.
Definitely. And Robert Hardman agrees with your sentiments as well. And we actually spoke to him about this during our chat last week. So here is what he had to say.
I think we've heard that Prince William and Princess Wales has visited his wife in hospital. We know he's cancelled several engagements, and they've been very clear that he's taking on more of the childcare duties, more of the bedtimes, while Kate is in recovery. How is this different to what we might have seen in the past? Is this sort of a sign of modernization?
Well, I think you're absolutely right, Christine. I think it is. I mean, in years gone by, if a senior member of the family was ill, their spouse would not drop everything. They'd carry on, and the children would be left with the nanny or nannies. And this time, Prince William has made a very conscious decision. He's going to step back from his duties. He's putting the family first. And he's doing that for a very specific reason, which is everything he does is about normalizing royal life, just trying to make everything as unobtrusive for the kids as possible, so that being a sort of school age royal is not something that's scary. So if mum's in hospital, he knows he's got to be there. Otherwise, it's quite, it's unsettling for the children if both parents are out of the house. So he's being a modern dad. Yeah.
All right, moving on over to King Charles. As we said, he was released from the hospital after undergoing surgery for an enlarged prostate. The palace said the king was this afternoon discharged from hospital following planned medical treatment and has rescheduled forthcoming public engagements to allow for a period of private recuperation. All those involved supporting Charles left the hospital's front entrance. He also thanked the caregivers as well. And he left the hospital with Queen Camilla as they waved to the crowd. He looked great, walked to the waiting car. Entertainment Tonight did say that he will be working from home for the time being, as he goes over paperwork and going through his red boxes. And Queen Camilla has urged her husband to slow down in the wake of his medical procedure, but she is not. She hosted a reception at Windsor Castle for contributors to the new miniature library collection displayed beside Queen Mary's doll's house as it celebrates its centenary year. So glad everybody is home and recuperating, but yeah, maybe it's time for just to slow down just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we know he's incredibly hardworking. Everybody says that he works late into the night. He's first up in the morning, really, really dedicated to all the charities he supports, all the people he works with. So this is a good reminder to slow down, although obviously we've heard that he's not completely resting on the sofa. There is still work to be done, but I love that we're seeing a bit more of a spotlight on other members of the royal family, like Queen Camilla, and this really interesting reception, this Queen Mary's dollhouse exhibit that's sort of being promoted right now. We've also seen Princess Anne a bit more. The Duke of Edinburgh was on tour recently. So those royals are sort of getting a little bit more of the spotlight that would normally be taken up by Kate, by William, by the king himself. And so it's interesting to see them as, sort of now they're key players in the royal family.
Definitely. And, we talked about Sarah Ferguson last week about her cancer diagnosis, and it seemed like she was in high spirits. She smiled for cameras as she left the hospital in London on January 24th. She wore a navy blue dress paired with black tights, and she looked great. Her hospital trip, as we said, came days after her second cancer diagnosis was revealed. She was diagnosed with malignant melanoma during a reconstructive surgery. So glad to see that she was in high spirits and, like we said, keeping her head up.
Yeah, absolutely. And, her statement was sort of with the idea of raising awareness for this issue. The king really, releasing sort of more medical details than normal is again, encouraging others to get checked and seek medical treatment if they notice things. All of this is great, raising awareness. So even when they're not doing anything, they're sort of recuperating. They're still trying to do a little bit of good.
Definitely. Well, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, they had a date night celebrating the upcoming Bob Marley One Love biopic. They walked the red carpet. This was a surprise at the film's premiere, which was held in Kingston, Jamaica. They appeared to be in good spirits as they walked hand in hand and posed for the cameras alongside Paramount Pictures and Nickelodeon CEO Brian Robbins. Yeah, wasn't expecting them to make the trip to Jamaica, but this was definitely a nice surprise and always good to see them out and about on the red carpet.
Yeah, this is really cool. I can't blame them for taking the opportunity to go to Jamaica. It sounds really nice sort of out now. Meghan looked so chic. I loved her outfit. It was somehow perfect for this semi-casual event, but it was still a red carpet event. And it was nice to see them out and about. They looked really happy, and it looked like everyone was happy to see them.
Definitely. All right, let's move on over and spill some royal tea. And Abigail Spencer says Meghan's sparkle is one of the undeniable factors behind Suits' record-breaking comeback. During her appearance on the Jess Cagle show, she shared her layered opinions about the legal drama's massive resurgence. She said, "I think there's several different things, and also Meghan's loveliness. That everyone is aware of her and her being on the show." She added that the resurgence may be in part because of Meghan and Harry's Netflix docuseries, which may have boosted, of course, the algorithm of Suits. She said also during the strike, there wasn't anything else. Netflix repositioned it. So I think there is something to positioning on Netflix, and when other things aren't being made, it commands your attention, but it has to be great for people to watch it. I agree. There definitely wasn't that much going on during the strike. So, a lot of people fell into the Suits hole and kind of fell in love with the show.
Yeah, it's very bingeable. You definitely sort of get sucked in, and it's easy to go through all 8 seasons, really quickly. I think we've heard so much about it, and the cast just still seems really lovely and really loved the experience. You could tell it was a really positive show to be on. So it's fun that it's sort of getting like a second win.
Definitely. Moving on over to my favorite story of the week. Bob Odenkirk appeared in a new episode of PBS's genealogy series, Finding Your Roots, where he was surprised to learn that he and King Charles are our 11 cousins. He offered the following analysis before the surprise revelation, saying, I'm an American. I'm not a monarchist. I don't believe in that. You know, I feel like it's a little twisted. I understand why society built itself around monarchs and leaders, and they pass them down through generations. I understand that goes through every society, every civilization, but I think that we've gotten to a better place with democracy, and we should just keep going down that road. When the host informed the actor of his relations to the current king of the United Kingdom, he let out a laugh, saying, well, maybe I'll change my mind on that. Now there you be trashing your family, how they make a living. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ain't been royal for more than 5 minutes, the host said. And Bob added, oh, that is crazy. That is so funny. I love this so much. I always love, you never know when you're going to take these ancestry and me things and what could pop out.
You never know what you're going to find out. I wonder if, I mean, he would be very, very, very far down the list, but it is always sort of fun to figure out where you would be, like how many people would have to tragically die for you to be of England.
It's so true, but what a great little connection. I love that so much. All right, well, let's break down the royal rules, and we wanted to revisit more of our conversation with Robert Hartman, which I know you all really enjoyed, and so did we. We talked to him about recounting the final days of Queen Elizabeth and how she was literally working up until her last breath. Take a look. So throughout your research, throughout writing this, and throughout your interviews, out of all the revelations that you uncovered, what shocked you the most?
I'm sort of shocked. I mean, what moved me the most, what sort of put the hairs on the back of my neck up the most was hearing the details of the final days of the longest reigning monarch in our history. And it was really that discovery that she'd been working right to the end, that her staff were there in a sort of state of shock on the afternoon that she died, and suddenly this red box appears, you know, the last red box. She'd been sent a red box every single day of her life as queen, which she was only allowed 2 days off. One was her birthday, one was Christmas Day. Other than that, red box every day, state papers, documents, all the kind of stuff that you have to read, sign, approve. And there had been one at her bedside when she died, and therein it was her last piece of homework. She'd been through a list of nominations for the Order of Merit, which was something she took very seriously, and she'd done her homework, literally hours before her death. I just think that's absolutely extraordinary. So that to me was the sort of one of so many moments. But I think hearing the accounts of her family, the Princess Royal, her staff, of those days, of what it was like on that final journey. And it was extraordinary that her final journey, she died in Scotland, and her coffin came down through the Highlands, through the small villages, and then the big cities, and finally the capital of Scotland. It arrives in Edinburgh, and the city is absolutely packed. Then she flies down, the coffin flies down to London, and there are again these extraordinary scenes, the queues, all hearing the inside story of all that, what it was like in the rehearsals at 2 a.m, with things going very badly wrong, because the timings had all got wrong, and people were sort of going to the wrong place, and troops were going missing. I mean, it was, at the end of the day, it all looked amazing. But when you hear what really happened, in a way, it was all the more amazing. And then to witness a coronation from the inside. I mean, I've never seen a British coronation before. The last one had been 70 years ago. But to see all that come together, to actually be in the room. I mean, another sort of what I call a jaw-dropping moment was to be in this workshop of the crown jeweler, and he's got the crown, he's got St Edward's crown, and he's sawing it in half in front of me. And it's like, oh my God, what is going on here? Because he's got to put these little gold strips in to make it slightly bigger to fit the head of Charles III. And you're standing there and you're looking at the imperial state crown. It's got the second largest diamond in the world. The largest is in the scepter, which is next to it. And you're just thinking, what? I mean, I'm standing here looking at all this stuff. This is never going to happen again.
So fascinating how he got so, kind of up close and personal with a lot of these great interviews and a lot of these fascinating details. It really is, like we said, such a great read. And we wanted to wrap up our Pint-Sized Palace with another anecdote from Robert's book. And this is about Prince George, saying that Prince George will not be expected to undertake any royal duties until he is well into his 20s. Despite wanting to delay his son's responsibilities, William takes his job of preparing George for the throne very seriously. He writes in the book, quite apart from all of his duties as Prince of Wales, Prince William has what he regards as one paramount duty. It is one which some of his predecessors virtually ignored, training the heir. Now, a friend of the royal family told Hardman that William views raising the future king as not far off the most important job he has. I love hearing that because it's such an important job. And maybe a lot of people, because they're so focused on their own reign, aren't looking to see what the future is going to be and how to readily prepare him. But it seems like William is doing that. It seems like Queen Elizabeth did that for King Charles as well. And I'm sure King Charles is doing it too.
Yeah, I think we see, it's the monarchy modernizing, really. It used to be such a different world. Queen Elizabeth was queen for so long that when she ascended the throne, we can't even imagine how different the world was back then. And just the way that families worked and the way that, that you had these social hierarchies. Now in 2024, Prince William is obviously doing it differently. You can tell how close the whole family is with William and Catherine and their children. Obviously, right now, we're seeing how much priority they place on their happiness and sort of their comfort within their lives, because they have such strange futures ahead of them. And I think they really are doing a great job to prepare them for that.
They really are. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Royally Us. Christine, thank you so much as always. And we will see you guys next week. Keep commenting and keep subscribing.
For more news content and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.